So the final game we're going to talk about here is one that we had brought up on the podcast a few weeks ago for the Origins preview. And it's a game that I said that I wanted to play, but I did not get the chance to play before the podcast episode released. So I'm glad I finally got it. I'm doing like 3 things in the background while I'm doing this talking. So it's like a trial of multitasking. Anyway, Skyrise is published by Roxley Games and it is designed by Gavin Brown, Sebastian Puchon, and Adam Wise. And it's a game where, well, first off, let's start with this. There's a deluxe version and there's a normal version. And it's a bidding game, but it's a bidding game where you're just trying to outplace a piece that has a higher number next to somebody. So it's a bidding game, but not the traditional, like, I'll raise you, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess you do raise them kind of, but you don't have money or anything. You're using pieces that you're placing on a board. So the board is made up of these 4 different floating islands. And real quick, George, you haven't played this, right?
I've not played this. This looks really good, though. I hadn't even seen it. It looks really pretty. Right. Let me say really quickly, Race Formula 90 is made by Gotha Games. I should have said that.
Oh, fair enough. All right, so here's the board. Basically, you have 4 floating islands that you attach to this center, like really tiny island. And each of these big islands have a lot of different spaces on it. The very center island only has 4. And it's, you know, you always use the center island. And then for each player, you add one of those corner islands. And it makes up the giant area to play on.
So this is like science fiction because these are literally floating islands.
It's steampunk.
Yes.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Each player has a bunch of different pieces that are of 3 different sizes, small, medium, large. They're buildings essentially. And so there is a deluxe version of the game that has some really cool 3D modeled buildings.
Ooh.
They look really nice when they're, I think they're what's called sun dipped or sun.
Yeah. Look at that.
They look really good, but even the base game has really gorgeous like wooden pieces. But you know, if you compare them next to each other, you get sad that you don't own the deluxe version. I will tell you that. Anyway, and even the board itself, the board is 3D. Like there's a 3D steampunk kind of platform that you set the board into for the deluxe version. It looks fantastic. This is a very, very deluxed out version.
Yeah.
I only own the base game. Thank you, Eric, for buying it for Christmas. Anyway, but basically on your turn, you will take one of your buildings and it has a number printed on one side and the other end of it is blank. So if the number is facing up, it's a bid. And when you win the bid, you'll flip it over and it becomes a permanent building on that space. If you start the bid, you'll put a piece down on a spot that you're able to. It's either adjacent to a piece that's already on the board, or you can always start in the center island if there's a space available. But you put a building, which in this case is on the bid side, on a space. And then the next player chooses one of their buildings to put on adjacent space next to that bid, and the number has to be higher. Now, the way the numbers are, everybody's pieces don't have the same numbers. So like player 1 might have a 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then 4, you know, it kind of goes around in that manner, except it skips a lot of numbers. I don't know if that's for an expansion idea or not, you know, because the numbers go up to 100 and something and there's not that many pieces, you know. So like first player might have the lowest number of 1, but then the next player's lowest number is like 6 or something.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it's almost like Raw in that regard.
Right. Like not two players have the number 15.
Yeah.
Somebody has the number 15. Somebody else has a different number, 16, 17, whatever. So you'll put a bid out and it keeps going until until everybody passes back to you, which it means that you win that bid. Everybody takes all their pieces back. So all those spots that have bids on it get recovered and they're freed up. And only the player who wins gets to flip their guy over or the building over. Or no one can bid because you corner them into an area where there's no other spaces to go. And what you're doing is at the beginning of the game, each space obviously is a color. And on top of that, you put these tokens randomly from the bag on these different spaces. And so when you claim an area with your building, you get one of those tokens. And essentially at the end of the game, there's yellow, green, white, and brown spaces. If you have more yellow tokens, it makes all the yellow areas that you have buildings in worth that many points. So printed on your board, there were 2, but you can go up to 6. But if you go too heavy and you get like the 4th token, or well, essentially the 5th token, if you're counting the one that's printed. But anyway, it goes back down to 4, but the more tokens that you get that you can't put on your normal board, they go on your character portrait. And there's a reason for that, because there's individual goals that you can score. You also get points for having tokens on your character portrait. So I think you get 10 points for every additional color. So if you have 4 spaces to put yellow tokens essentially. So it's worth 3, 4, or 6, but then it goes back down to 4. And so, but you take that gamble of getting 1 extra token so that you get a 5th token, and that's 10 points by itself.
Gotcha.
So it's a little bit of a game, like you're trying to figure out, should I go, like if all your yellow areas or districts or whatever they're called, neighborhoods, I think, are worth 6 points. Do I try to get 2 more yellow tokens, which will effectively lower my points per yellow down to 4, but then every yellow token on the 5th or more is 10 points by itself? Or do I just sit steady at 3 yellow tokens, which gives me 6 points per yellow area? You have to kind of math it out while you're playing it.
Right, because you're either getting 6 times 4, or you're getting
4 times 4, but the ability get 10 points, 10 points, 10 points, 10 points, right?
Yeah, you're getting 4 times or 5 times 4 plus 10. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you basically play through 2 phases. There's one phase where if somebody plays, when the phase ends, everybody gets, you don't start with all your pieces. Once you play all your pieces, whoever the first person is, they end the first phase of the game, and then everybody gets the rest of their pieces. And then you keep playing until everybody has spent all their pieces. So everybody will bid everything out on the board, which means the entire board will most likely be completely filled up. Or not completely filled up, I'm sorry. There's going to be empty spaces, but it's going to be really filled.
Yeah.
And at the end of the phase 1, there's these scoring cards you put off to the side, and you might get points for being, having pieces next to these blimps that are printed on the board, or next to these little energy power plants. I don't know what they are. And then those will score again at the end of the game. So obviously you want to get them early so that you score them twice rather than just once.
Okay.
There's some in-game scoring stuff, but I mean, I guess there's one last thing. There are other tokens that are on these spaces that are not just those 4 color circles. There are A, B, C, and D, and you don't know what the value of those are because you shuffle them at the beginning and put them on the board. But once you collect a token, so if you own the A token, and there's multiple A tokens out there, but if you have one, you get to look at the bottom of that token to see how many points it's worth. And then it's a little bit of bluff. So it's like, okay, well, Tim got 2 of those A's. He might really like that, but it's not worth anything. I just needed brown districts, and it happened to be the token that's there.
Okay.
That's pretty much the idea of the game. What I really like about it is the fact that when you are bidding, there is a little bit of area control in the sense it's like, okay, if I place here, the next place person's going to have to go here or here, which could branch out into this corner when it comes back around to me. And I basically just auto win it. You know what I mean? And if you're the one who wins the bid, you start the next one. And so if you get to a point where, for instance, there's some spaces that are not adjacent to a lot of spaces. And if you corner it into there, you can just auto take it with like a lowest piece. And so it's not necessarily about always saving your really high number of buildings to take spots. It's also about figuring out where people are going and then using that to try to take over areas that don't have a lot of adjacent spots available, because you can't obviously place buildings where there are buildings. So those spaces are effectively blocked. Yeah. So if the bids around a space get all taken up, your next turn is, I'm going to put this 4 on this one space and win it. And that's crazy. So the only thing I will say is like the scoring cards that happen, you only put 2 of them out they score at the end of phase 1 and at the end of the game. I felt like the ones that they just really lackluster. Did you notice that, James? Like,
yes.
Like, I don't even care.
Right. You're not paying attention to those.
Yeah. I mean, they're really hard to achieve. It's like have 3 of your pieces next to a blimp, like adjacent to it. And most of those blimps only have 4 maybe spaces, and you have to win all 3 of them around it. You get like 3 points. Well, if I'm getting 4 points per yellow district, I'm not going to play. Like, if it happens, it happens.
Right.
Maybe I just suck at the game, but I feel like those cards in particular weren't very exciting. The secret objectives at the beginning of the game is really just, there's only 4 of them because the 4 district colors. So it might be like, okay, well, at the end of the game, if you have at least, 4 or 5, I think it's 4 white districts, you get 10 points. And then the other person's is if you have 4 brown districts, you get 10 points. I mean, yeah, that's cool. I always get sad when you get objectives that you put face down that no one knows about, if they're all the same, just different colors. Cause I feel like, I don't know how you would fix it and make it better or add new stuff, but it just seems like it's kind of meh to me. But the game itself, I like those things don't even matter because I think the game is very, very cool. So James, you played this. What do you think?
Yes, I was very fortunate to play the deluxe version of this, so it is very pretty. My friend has the deluxe version. You're right. It's the main thing you're focusing on is the multipliers of which districts you're winning, and you're trying to multiply that, and also those secret points behind those letters. It's it. There's a lot of stuff I like about it, like the area control aspect, the trying to do the multiplier stuff for the points. My main issue is bidding. I am terrible at it. If I have a strategy, somebody's going to mess it up. Somebody's going to go in there and just run ragged on me and just mess up my whole strategy, and which is rare for me anyway, because I'm more of a Leroy Jenkins player. I just run in there and do whatever and then curse at myself at the end because I got beat real bad. But I am just terrible at bidding. Raw is another example. I am terrible at bidding games like that because I don't grasp the strategy fully of it. I know a little bit of it, but I don't know. The people I play with, they know how to do all that. Oh, plan for this and this and this, and I'm just like, like you said, there's each one has like a little peninsula one where you can block off and you'll win it automatically.
Yeah.
And they know how to get that before anybody else. And I don't know when. I can't grasp the concept of when I use the higher one and when I should use the lower one. I'm just terrible at it. So that's what keeps me from buying it. I still think it's a really good game. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I came in 3rd out of 4th, which is an accomplishment for me, like I said, for bidding games. But yeah, I mean, and if you can get the deluxe version, I recommend it. If you like this game, get the deluxe. It is very pretty because I'm looking at the standard version and I feel sorry for you, Tim. I mean, like I said, I don't have this game at all. That's one indicator. Like I said, I'll play games with my game group, and if I really like it, I'll buy it. So I liked it, but not enough to buy it. Just mainly a lot of because of the bidding, and usually bidding also they don't have solo versions of it.
It would be really hard to do solo.
Right. So that's another thing because it's hard to get my wife to play these types of games. So that's why I have to solo a lot of these games. And this one you can't with the bidding aspect. But if you like the bidding, I mean, it is a great game. It's well worth it. It is very fun.
I did forget to mention one thing, which is another thing I really enjoy, is that each player gets a wonder, which is a special type of building. It doesn't have a bidding number. And if you don't get it until the second phase of the game, when you play it, you just immediately stop the bidding. Like it's like infinite number. Bam.
That's a wild.
Yeah. And you start the game with some of these wonder cards. I think you start with like 3. And when it comes time to, I don't remember if you actually, I can't remember if you pick halfway through. I think you pick when the phase 2 starts and you get your wonder, you select one of those wonder cards from your hand, and everybody puts it face down and then reveals And so you can cater. It's like you have 3 options of what your wonder can do when it comes out.
That's good.
But you don't have to pick that at the beginning of the game. You pick it when you get the wonder halfway through the game. So you can pick one that benefits you the most, or might be super opportunistic. You know, you might pick one that when you play it, you might get points for having so many buildings in a section, like a floating island or whatever. Or you might get points for having as long as you have one of each color district on one island, you get like so many points. And you know, so if you're not really doing well with that halfway through the game, you're like, oh, I'm not going to pick that wonder because it would be too hard to achieve, you know? So
yeah,
the wonders were really cool. I really like the mechanisms on those. Most of them are just scoring for different ways or whatever, but man, I think it's a good game. I don't necessarily think my wife likes it tremendously. Like, she was okay with it, but she doesn't really like bidding games to begin with. And so, like, as much as I enjoy this game, the deluxe version is out of my price range because I don't think it will hit the table a whole lot because of that. And so I'm fine with just the base game. Although, man, that deluxe version is super sweet looking. Oh my gosh.
It is very pretty.
Crazy good.
And just to add on, when you bid, and if you win the bid, that building is gone. So that number is gone from you because you just flip the building over, and so all those buildings have numbers under them. That's your bidding token, is the building.
And what's really cool about that is people might win a bunch of bids in a row, but you're going to play until everything is played.
Right.
And so, but it does matter the order though, because you are trying to look for areas. Like, for instance, if maybe you start with the card that says you need brown districts. So if you get 4 of those, you get 10 points at the end of the game. Well, you look around and maybe a brown district has a brown token on it. That is a key area for you to get because it's going to increase your scoring for brown, and it gives you a district control.
Yeah.
And so board reading it at the beginning of the game is super important here, just based on the fact that you got to look around and be like, okay, you know, this space has a brown token on it, but it's a yellow district. Okay, well, if you claim that district, you're increasing your score for brown, but you're claiming a yellow district.
Correct.
And so looking around the board and seeing how it begins is super important. And that might be one of those things where on additional plays really matters. I can see, like, if you played this game a whole lot and you sat down with some people who are really serious about it and they play it a lot, you would probably spend 10 minutes looking at the board before actually starting to do anything. Just reading it and seeing where the tokens landed and all that stuff, which is really cool. I mean, it's very abstract feel, but it does have a lot of strategy. It's got, even though it's abstract, I mean, it could be anything, right? It's steampunk, which I like, but it doesn't have to be steampunk. So
I don't like steampunk, but this is pretty. This is pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about this? Is this pretty?
Even the base game, I think, is very pretty, except I don't want to look at those 4 people the whole game.
Which 4 people?
The ones right there printed on the board.
Oh, yeah.
What's wrong with them?
You don't want to see that?
They're weird looking.
It's on every board, but...
Yeah, well, I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah,
I guess instead of putting the token with the question mark on the space for it, you could just put them on their face.
Put it on their face. That's a good idea. That solves the problem for me. Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, that's Skyrise. Anybody got any final thoughts?
I would play it. I would be terrible at it, but I would play it.
I'd play it again and be terrible at it too.
Well, you know what? We're going to have to do some tabletop simulator for this one if we can't get together. So.
All right. And race Formula 90 as well.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. I'm down with that because if we need to save, we just quit.
There you go.
Yeah, we can take it in sections.
Yeah.
They have ways that you can play it as a shorter race as well. And they even have a way that you can hit a certain turn of the race and it becomes a sprint at that point. And the first car to cross the first car that hasn't been lapped to cross the finish line after that round of the game is the winner. And that's our favorite way to play. That makes it pretty exciting.
Fair enough. All right, well, we're gonna end this one. This is Skyrise by Roxley Games.